What's up, you guys? We are back with another video. My name is Crystal Dynetra, and thank you for joining in to Truth TV Podcast. This is a recovery page for myself. I talked about it in my other videos that I am in recovery from narcissistic and domestic abuse. I am an advocate for both. I have a special guest today, and I'm so excited that she's able to join me. Her name is Miss Shay Cole. Me and Shay Cole go back a long time. We were in college together at Oakland University in Rochester Hills, Michigan, and we share a lot of the same similarities, and we pretty much have a lot of things in common. So I wanted her to come on and talk today to share her story and her testimony. She is a renowned writer. She's an author. She's a published author. She's a mom of three. She's a great friend, a good counselor. She's an advocate for DV. You know what I'm saying? She has a lot of good things going on, but her writing skills are unmatched. So I am going to bring her onto the panel right now. You guys welcome her with open arms. Again, her name is Mrs. Shay Cole. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I am doing good. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate you coming on the panel, child.
Absolutely. I appreciate the invite. I'm honored.
Yay. So let's get started. So who is Shay Cole? What does Shay Cole do?
So I am an author, writer, poet, advocate, survivor of many different things. I am an overall dope ass woman. So
yes, honey.
I learned a long time ago that I was put here for a purpose, and I know that I don't live my life for me alone. So I've always had a desire to help others, and it just so happened to come through these words.
Yes, honey. Yes. Yes. So what made you get into writing?
So I actually started writing because I'm the fourth of my mother's children. She had 4 children. She had 3 girls, and I am the youngest daughter. And I believe that I was the most like my mom, and I think that made it difficult for her to communicate with me. I've been blunt since childhood. I've been very direct my whole life. So it was very difficult for her to hear me a lot of times because I was coming with boom, boom, boom. Answer this, tell me that, and it was like, hold on, little girl, woo. So she wrote to me. And she started writing letters to me as a way for us to communicate. And that's how I first started writing.
Okay. So what are some of the things that you like to write the most? Like, what are some of the projects that you're most proud of?
Well, I must say I'm most proud of my latest book, my
Yay!
baby.
I love this book, y'all. Y'all got to get this book. When I tell y'all, if y'all want something on the edge of y'all seat, from page turn to page turn, this is the book, y'all. Y'all got to get it. And we will tell you towards the end where you guys can purchase her book. So what makes this project the most proud?
That is my survival story.
Okay.
That is it took me over 10 years to write that book.
Okay.
And I'm finally at a place where I can not only heal myself, but help others. So that book showed me so much, the process of it, from beginning to end. Excuse me, that wasn't my first book, but it was the one that taught me how important my words are. It taught me how much of an impact that I really do have. I saw it with the other books, but with this one, the distribution was wider and it reached more people and reached more locations. So this one, it really hit home in a whole nother way because, like I said, not only has it helped me, but it's also been an instrumental tool for other people. My cousin actually purchased, I want to say about 20 of them, 20 or 25 of them,
Oh,
and gave
wow.
them away to a domestic violence shelter.
Oh,
So
that's wonderful.
yeah, so this project has been the most impactful project for me to date that of mine that I've
Okay.
completed.
Okay. So let's go back just a little bit. So growing up, where did you grow up and how was that era for you?
So I grew up in Detroit. Whoop
Woo,
whoop,
woo, woo,
31
woo.
baby.
I
So
couldn't wait till you said it like I don't know, but for the viewers who don't know,
I'm a D girl all the way.
yes, baby.
So, born and raised in Detroit, Joy Road, West Side.
West Side.
I grew up in a single parent household. I did have my father in my life. He was very active and instrumental in my life.
Mm-hmm.
However, it was difficult because both of my parents, I was the last of both of them. So I'm actually the only child that they share together.
Okay.
And for them, for me personally, it was difficult because I was the youngest of
Mm-hmm.
both sides, and then on my mom's side, the closest one to me was 6 years. On my dad's side, the closest one to me was 16 years.
Okay.
So there was a big age gap for me. I felt like growing up, I was growing up as the only child.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times I would, choose to go with cousins or friends or something so that I didn't feel like I was alone.
Right.
It was hard learning how to maneuver through life with the family that I had. My
Okay.
mom and I didn't make amends until a few years before she passed. So
Okay.
most of my life, I didn't have a mother.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she was physically there and providing and doing, going through the motions, but emotionally and, familiar from as a mom, she
Yeah.
wasn't a mom, in the right that you would think in the family order.
Okay.
So it was hard. It was hard for me. I can't speak on how my siblings, received her, but I
Mm-hmm.
know for me that was very difficult. And being in the church, Baptist church, it was hard. It was really difficult. Yeah, that was that was the
Right. Yeah. So how do you think her presence impacted you? Like, did it make you want to be a different kind of mom for your kids? Like, how did the relationship with you guys impact your life?
Yes, so absolutely. Um, People always say they can't understand how I'm so full of love when they hear my story.
Mm-hmm.
I am
But
a
she
very
is full of love, y'all. I'm sorry. She is. She's very loving, very sweet person.
like,
Right.
thank you.
You're welcome.
So people always say, man, I don't know how you are sane. I don't know how you not crazy, not on drugs, not like just off your rocker. I don't know how you are where you are because
Mm-hmm.
your story is like a story. Like,
Mm-hmm.
how did you like mentally the amount of trauma? My therapist told me today. She said it's trauma. It's a lot of trauma. So, I definitely wanted to provide a different atmosphere for my children. I wanted them to know always that I love them, always
Mm-hmm.
that I'm here, always that I have their back.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want them to feel like they couldn't communicate with me. I left the door open for them. I've always been direct with them, and I check in with them.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked my kids, "Hey, is there something that I could do to be a better mom for you?"
Mm-hmm.
Like I do my best to make sure that I don't leave those same sour taste in the mouths of my children that were left in mine.
Right. That's very important. Very important. So let's talk about these Shay-isms. I see you're wearing one of your shirts right now. I live in truth. And that's one of her kind of say markers that she lives by. Can you tell me a little bit about what that means to you?
Yes, absolutely. So my second book was actually dedicated to all of those who are seeking to live in truth, and the second book is entitled "The Book About Life Classes in Session."
Mm-hmm.
And the premise of that book is it discusses different things that we do to keep ourselves in negative situations.
Right.
And as a survivor of so many different things, and a person who holds degrees in, the helping professions, like I have a bachelor's and a master's in psychology. So I'm
educated, okay? Educated. You hear me?
So I'm familiar with, the psychology of trauma, healing, processing, all of that stuff. And I learned through my experiences and the experiences of those who entrusted me with information, and my education, that in order to have the life that you want and live it the way that you want to, you have to be honest, but you have to start being honest with yourself first. And you can't teach people how to treat you if you don't treat you how you need to be treated.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's
I need to write that down. That's a good one.
So that's how it started. It started as like, just living true, be honest, and just being transparent. I am a lover, like a lover. I love love. And even though I've been through so many different things that would tarnish my idea of love, I still have room and space for it. At the same time, I know what I'm not willing to deal with. And I can't accept or expect somebody else to meet my expectations if I don't even have them set for myself. Like, how do I know what I want and what I need and what I desire and what I'm not going to put up with if I don't talk to myself about it? If I'm not clear with myself, if I'm not being honest with myself.
Right. That's good. That's really good. So let's talk a little bit about your DV story. You mentioned that your last project is pretty much predicated upon your DV stories that you had. Let's talk a little bit about that, to your comfort level. You can share whatever, you feel that is necessary to share. But I do encourage you guys out there to grab her book because it goes into full detail. And she kind of has a unique story. So you have the floor, ma'am.
Well.
Well.
So, I met my kid's father when I was in college. I went to college at Oakland University in Rochester Hills, Michigan, and that's where I met his brother first. So his brother attended school with us, and he was actually there visiting for an extended period of time.
Not really going to school, but just up at the school, those types.
Living at the school, but not going to the school, but living at the school.
Right.
So
a squatter. Look, a squatter. Squatting up at the school, child. I got no business up there.
So I did hair. And he approached me about braiding his hair. Unbeknownst to me, it was all a part of his ploy and his plan to get me, because he saw me walking to the mailboxes one day and was like, oh my gosh, I got to have her. So that was a part of his ploy. So we got cool. We started talking. I would braid his hair. I would talk to him about other dudes and all kinds of stuff. So fast forward, I get pregnant. And I have to leave. I had to leave school. I get pregnant. And after that, I want to say I was staying with my cousin. And when we found out I was pregnant, my cousin was like, well, you can't stay here no more. You got to go back home to your mama. Now, again, mind you, me and my mom were not on the best of terms. So, although we were cordial, it was not really a healthy relationship. You know what I'm saying? So, I went back home with her, and him and I spoke about, what our next steps needed to be. He decided there was really like no jobs that I could take because I was showing so early. So I got on food stamps. I did all that stuff, did the Work First program and got all that stuff. So, but I'm big. I'm 3 months and I'm already showing.
Wow.
So they were like, okay, we can't really put you in a position anywhere because you're going to be on maternity leave in no time.
Right.
So I tried Job Corps. They was like, no. So the only option we had was for him to go into the military. So he joined the military. We got married. He came. He joined the military. When he came back home after basic training for us to get married, he came. I picked him up from the bus station. He told me that he almost did not say that he saw me. He started to just act like I wasn't there when he saw how big I was.
Wow.
Because I was 8.5 months pregnant when we got married. And I gained a lot of weight first pregnancy. And
well, that's expected, you know. Right. They don't know that, but that's expected.
Right. So I gained a lot of weight, and he was like, I almost didn't acknowledge you. Like, I was literally about to like act like you wasn't there. Wow. And I was like, well, damn. So we get married the next day. None of his family knows. None of his people are there. Nobody. He would not let me tell nobody. I couldn't say nothing. It was just like a hush-hush type of thing. We get married. He takes my car. My mom and my sister end up coming to the ceremony. It was super, like, not. We got married in. He got married in a Dickies outfit, all black Dickies outfit, and I got married in some black capris and a black and white tank top in the church house. So, in like the little chapel of the church.
Right.
So, girl, it went from bad to worse real quick, because after we got married, the day we got married, he took my car, he took me to the hotel. My mom got us a hotel room, and he took me to the hotel. He took my car, and he went to visit his family.
Wow.
He left me in the hotel room by myself, pregnant, all night.
The day y'all got married, on your wedding day?
On my wedding day.
Wow.
So I spent my wedding night alone with some Coney Island. I had some Coney Island.
Well, at least you had some good food, child.
Yeah, I had some chicken and some chili cheese fries. I was all right until I realized I was there by myself on my wedding night.
Wow.
So he didn't want anybody to know. So my cousin actually went to school with us, with his brother and myself. So my cousin said something to his brother about us being married, and it started this whole blow up. And he came at me like, why you say something? I'm like, wait a minute, bro. This is my news too.
Right.
So if I share it with somebody, it's not like I lied.
Right. You telling what happened.
Right. So, and I'm excited. I'm married. Why wouldn't I want to tell people? But apparently I wasn't supposed to. So that started the thing. When he went into the military, I was still in Detroit with my mom, staying there at her house. I had a baby, and it was time for us to move. My dad drove me and my daughter down to Georgia. That's what he drove me and my baby down to Georgia, packed up all the stuff at my mama's house, and took us down there. He didn't even stay. My dad didn't even stay. He literally did a turnaround trip for me.
Wow.
So he got us down there, and the day that we moved in, the day that me and my baby moved in, my ex had to go to work. So we didn't get any time together in the beginning. I later found out that he chose not to be at the birth of the baby.
Really?
Yes, because the military, had he told them that I was giving birth, that I was being induced, we had a date that they were inducing me. So he was able to tell them that, hey, my wife is being induced this day. I would like to go home and see, my baby being born. And they would have let him go. He didn't tell them. They didn't even know that he was having a child.
Wow.
So, when I got down there, he still had to work. So our first day, I moved into a new place by myself. Me and my baby just sitting around the house looking stupid as hell.
That is crazy.
Yeah, while he go to work. So from there, it kind of was just verbal, emotional, mental, financial abuse, having to give him receipts when I bought stuff for the kids, if I had to buy diapers, or how much do you need exactly? How much do they cost? Do you need wipes and diapers or just diapers? It was like a constant checklist that I had to go through and make sure that I was staying on top of before he would give me money.
Wow.
But at
Not wanting no extras, huh?
Right.
Okay.
But at the same time, I was the person who handled the bills. Although he was the breadwinner, I was the person who made sure that things got paid out.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want me to have access to the money for real, but you want me to have access to the money.
Right. It's not making sense.
Right.
Make it make sense, sir.
So it got real annoying and aggravating because I would have to ask and I would have to go through these hoops and hurdles, but his family could call him and, anything could be going on. The sister needed money for a down payment. The hot water heater at their house going out. Sir, your daddy and your mama supposed to take care of their house. You got your own house here. Why am I having to ask you to take care of your kids and you quick to cash out for your family up there? And you was the black sheep before I got involved. You and your mama weren't even talking before I got involved.
Wow. So it sounds like he was kind of the scapegoat of the family, but just doing things to try to keep, sometimes scapegoats do things to try to keep the peace, so that I'm not taking up for him, but that's probably what he was doing, just trying to keep the peace in that house.
Ain't no telling. Because he was, he was the one seen as, he was the second born of his parents' children. And he was like, his mom told me, first off, not only was I verbally abused by him, I was verbally abused by his mother as well. She told me that I should not have had any more children after I had my first daughter and found out that she had Down syndrome.
Well, who is she to make the call? She ain't Jesus.
Honey.
Child.
Yeah. So
I didn't know that. Now I could have came down there and touched her. I ain't never heard that version. Lord have mercy. We should have laid hands on her. Something. Look.
Yeah.
We ain't promoting violence, but we ain't no gangsters, but don't push us. Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. So it was, just a lot of that back and forth. I never really had support from her because she was always, on her son's side, even though prior to me coming into the picture, you didn't have a relationship with your son any longer. He was homeless. He was living on the street. That's why he was with his brother, because he didn't have nowhere to go.
Up there squatting, child.
So I come into the picture. I come into the picture and I'm the savior, but yet I'm also, you know what I'm saying, the fall guy. So it just turned into, you my wife, but you my secretary. You my wife, but you the landscaper. I was cutting the trees, cutting the grass, cutting the bushes, taking care of the kids, taking care of the dogs. I was making sure the house was clean. Come on. Whatever needed to be done, I was doing it. He had to go to work. If his clothes needed to be ironed, I was ironing them. If we needed to go to the grocery store, I was going. If he was hungry, it didn't matter what time it was. I would start up the grill at midnight.
Wow.
So it was like, I'm pouring, like I said, I'm a lover. So I pour into people. And like I poured and poured and poured and poured, thinking that this was my forever. And it was why did you do this? So,
wow. So when did the actual physical DV stuff start happening? Like after how long were you guys married? Did he start, physically being abusive?
So we had a few tussles here and there. Nothing like where, because I told him, I said, if you ever punch me or hit me, you need to make sure I'm knocked out, like completely cold, and then you need to leave. Because if you're there when I awaken, I'm going to do my best to unalive you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's not what you want, don't do that to me.
Mm-hmm.
And he never approached me that way. So he would do stuff like put me in a headlock or tussle or push or, call himself trying to restrain me.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, bro, what for what? What do you need to restrain me for? That started happening probably, I'd say, within the first maybe year, 2 years into it. He
Wow.
mushed my head against the wall. I was sitting we had this, we stayed on base because he was in the military. So we had this kind of like a card table
Mm-hmm.
sitting up against the wall, and there was 2 chairs. So I was sitting in the chair eating, and the wall was right here. So he
Mm-hmm.
mushed my head, and my head hit the wall. And I was eating with my fork. Fleek. I don't know who you thought this was. He called his mama on me and tried to tell on me. I said, let me tell you something, ma'am. My mama told me that if a man do something like that, I need to hit him. And if I can't hit him, I need to throw something at him. So that's what happened. If you don't want your son to get hit with this fork, you better tell him keep his hands off me, ma'am.
Right. Period. And that's on period. That's
So
right.
she ain't say nothing else to me too much after that. And then when we decided to get divorced, that's when it really hit the fan.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, okay, we gonna get divorced. We good. This ain't gonna work. He had already moved out and
How
was
long were you guys married at that point?
7 years.
Okay. Okay.
So at that point, we were 7 years in, and I had did all I knew how to do. Honey, he had already threatened divorce. We had been in some rocky situations.
Okay.
And so by the time we said, okay, it's just not gonna work, we filed for divorce. And after I filed, I had a garage sale. He
Mm-hmm.
came back after the garage sale, and he decided that he was gonna reclaim stuff that he felt like he had given me. So he came in, cutting up my clothes, cutting up my stuff, and in the process of him doing all that, I tried to grab one of my bags. Well, the bag that I was trying to grab was a sorority bag,
Mm-hmm.
and my purse was inside of it. So he was trying to cut up the bag. I'm trying to grab my purse with all my personal belongings in it,
Mm-hmm.
and he came close to slitting my wrist. So
Wow.
it was like a back and forth. We keep trying to figure out who gonna get who where and how, and no. I just want my stuff out of there. You can have the rest of this. I'm not tripping on that. He was like, okay, well, oh, so you're not gonna react? His whole thing, he would constantly do stuff to try and get a reaction out of me.
That's that reactive abuse. I'm gonna do something to make you do something so I can blame it on you ultimately. That's what
Mm-hmm.
they do. That's what toxic people do, honey.
Mm-hmm. So that was the catalyst to him bleaching me, dousing me with the bleach. And after that came the before the dousing with the bleach, he tore up all the stuff in the house, all the electronics, so I couldn't make any phone calls or communicate with anybody.
Wow.
And then he doused me with the bleach. He took the good operating vehicle. Once I got that back, he set it on fire.
Lord have mercy. I swear, girl. It's
Yeah.
like reliving this stuff over and over. It just pisses me off all over again. I just want to snatch them. I just want to find them and just snatch them one good time.
Yeah, girl. I feel you.
That is terrible.
I feel you. But yeah, that was the head of it. Once the divorce, once he got to the point where he was pissed off about me not talking to him about the divorce, because that's how it started. He wanted to talk to me about us getting divorced, and I was like, for what? We've already filed the paperwork. There's nothing else to discuss.
Right.
What do we need to talk about? And he was like, no, you're gonna talk to me or I'm gonna start tearing shit up. Okay.
So what did he do? Did he start tearing stuff up?
That's when he started cutting up all my clothes and stuff. So when the police came over there, like they said, he answered the door drenched in sweat because he had worked up so much of
foolishness.
Yeah, he had worked up so much in himself that he was literally pouring down with sweat from just cutting up my clothes, ransacking the house.
So that's what I was gonna ask you. You did get the police involved at
Yes.
some point. Okay.
Once he doused me with the bleach, yeah, I grabbed my little puppy. She was out of the cage. She was getting ready to drink it. So I had to grab her and put her on the other side of the house where my kids were, and I walked out the front door and went next door to the neighbor's house and called the cops.
Wow.
Yeah.
So did he go to jail?
Yeah, he went. He didn't stay there long. His cousin that stayed in the local area, she came by and was like trying to get me to drop the charges, basically. Like, what's going on? Why would you do that type of thing?
Well, why would he do this? What you mean? Why would I do that? Why would he act a fool?
It's like the people, families just be wanting to talk sometimes, and they don't be wanting to listen. Because his siblings got on Facebook and told me to kill myself. They told me I wasn't worthy of their last name. They told me I wasn't nothing. I shouldn't even be alive. So had I not had a stronger mind, which I'm so grateful for, who's to say where I would be after all of that?
Yeah, and those are what we call flying monkeys. Anybody who advocates for the abuser and kind of, enables their behavior, they're called flying monkeys. That's what I talk about a lot on this channel. And they just stupid people too. They all toxic too, and they probably got issues going on in their life and their relationships and always trying to insert themselves, but they never want to see that their party or their family member has an issue. It's always the other person's fault. That's typically how that ends up. So after all of those instances, the bleach dousing, him trying to set the car on fire, how did that impact you and your kids? Like what was running through your mind at the time that those things happened?
Honestly, I can remember. I remember when he doused me with the bleach. Prior to him coming back into the house that night, my brain was telling me to get a knife. My brain was telling me to get a knife because he was coming back, and I needed to be prepared. And had I listened to my brain, he would be dead, and I would be in jail.
Wow.
So it. Like that, I remember it vividly. Like it was literally an audible voice in my head telling me to get a knife. He's coming back. It was like my inner child trying to protect me. Like, please don't let him come back and do this to us. Protect us. And then with the truck being set on fire, it was like the neighbors banging on the door, and I had just laid down from doing homework. And I said, that just means God got something better for me. That was my response. In the moment, I've tried my best to just stay as positive as I can, just despite what's going on. Mentally, it definitely took a toll on me. I don't trust people at all. I have little to no trust for anybody. And yeah,
because it makes you, those things kind of put you on guard. You know what I'm saying? It gives you such an uneasy feeling where you don't know, you always have to have a wall up because you don't know what people's true intentions are. There are still some good people out here, but the ones that really messed us up in the head, they really did a number on us. So it takes us a moment to be able to trust and, even lend a helping hand sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Because you don't know what angle people are coming from. So how have these things affected your kids? How have these instances affected, and do they have a relationship with their dad now, or?
So no, they do not.
Okay.
During the divorce proceedings, he told the judge that she can have them. Just tell me what I have to pay. And the judge had him repeat himself because he was flabbergasted by his response when he asked him if he wanted to talk about custody.
Wow.
So,
No good, child. No good.
so the judge said once he repeated it to the judge for the second time, the
Mm-hmm.
judge said, "Okay, I'm going to issue a permanent restraining order, and you will not have any contact with the children, with their mother, or anything." Um, yeah, so that's a big no, and I cannot have it lifted.
Okay.
My children have to be 18 and request for it to be lifted. That's the only way that the restraining order can be lifted. Is one of them have to be 18, and I have an 18-year-old, but
Mm-hmm.
she's not gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
My son said that he might when he turns 18 next year.
Mm-hmm.
So they have not seen, heard, or anything from their dad.
Wow.
It has had a heavy impact on my son. He started acting out immediately when he
Mm-hmm.
was younger, a lot of anger issues. He was very, very angry, um, really, really pissed off at his
Mm-hmm.
dad. And anything that had something to do with a dad pissed him off. He
Yeah,
would go to
rightfully
friends,
so.
yeah, he would
Mm-hmm.
go to friends' house and come back upset because they had a dad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was a lot for him. He cried to me one day and said, "Who, who's supposed to teach me how to be a man?
Wow.
Like, who am I supposed to talk to about my growing pain?" My son's 6'3".
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, who am I supposed to talk to about my knees hurting when I'm growing up and being this tall, my man stuff, like, he ready, I mean, he a boy.
Yeah.
So boys' puberty is a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted somebody to talk to about that. And regardless of how open your mom is, she's still your mom.
Yeah.
So it was hard on him. The girls, my oldest daughter, she's like, I miss him, but she has a lot of negative memories as well. My
Mm-hmm.
youngest daughter wants nothing to do with him,
Wow.
nothing at all. Like,
Mm-hmm.
she is done,
Done, done. Mm-hmm.
done.
Wow.
Yeah, they are funny. I do give them the opportunity.
They are.
I do
They're
give them.
such loving kids, and it's just a shame that he has to miss out, but that was the decision that he made, and the comment that he made and his actions leading up prior to that. That's the consequences that he has to suffer. But I know for a fact that they have a strong mom. I know they have a good mom, who takes care of them and looks out for their best interests. You provide for them, you talk to them, you give them opportunities to speak with you, regarding how they feel. So that's very important. So I say you're doing an excellent job, and forget him. If I could say the F word, I would, but I ain't trying to get my channel shut down. I'm just starting up, but forget him.
Mhm.
So you haven't heard anything from him? Does he have a new life or anything like that? Like,
Yeah, he absolutely does have a new life.
mm-hmm.
Um, he married he has 5 children now with his new wife.
Wow, 5
Yes,
plus
they
your 3.
yes.
Okay.
So they met during his stint in the military, and she was actually one of his troops.
Okay.
And they were messing around while we were married. And I actually met her. She came to my house. Um, and
Mm-mm.
she was, yeah, she was, she told him she was suicidal when I guess when he tried to break it off or something, or I guess she found out she was pregnant and he told her they couldn't do it, or I don't know what took place, but she told him she was suicidal, and he was telling me that he was helping one of his troops because her boyfriend left her.
Wow.
To find out he was the boyfriend. But their oldest child, he's not on the birth certificate, because if he gets put on the birth certificate, it's proof that he cheated on me, and both of them were in the military, and that will retroact some issues for them.
Wow. Just
But
no
yeah,
good all around. No good. No
yeah.
good, child.
So
Well, to hell with him and her. Moving right along. So, how are you coping with everything today? What does coping look like? What does your healing look like today in 2023? What does Shay's healing look like?
girl, therapy.
Mm-hmm. Same here, child. Same here.
Therapy.
Mm-hmm. Very important. You know, we have the stigma in the Black community that we can't get therapy, baby, because we was told you're gonna seem crazy or you don't need therapy. You just need to pray. You need to do more than pray. You know.
That's the same thing they told gay people. Pray. And look at them, still gay.
Girl.
Just saying. Like,
So
no.
therapy and what else?
Just I try to do my best to really fighting hard to maintain. Outside of therapy, I take a lot of baths. I started back taking a lot of baths, just soaking, escaping. Like Calgon, take me away. Just really,
don't play Mariah Carey,
girl, for real. It's playing with my little puppy. Just trying to be present with my kids. It's still really hard. So it's a learning process still. Still learning what types of therapies work best, what type of therapist work best, what type of environments I need to keep myself in and away from, making sure I protect myself, not allowing unhealthy people in my space, protecting my space, and realizing that not that I ever doubted myself or my worth or anything like that, but realizing how important I am and understanding that everybody is not worth my space, my energy, or my time.
That's right.
So that's kind of what it looks like. I some people say I'm guarded, but I mean, I'll take that. I'll be that. Red Man, Method Man, circa 90, whatever. I'll be that.
Right.
So yeah, I'm just not interested in subjecting myself to the possibility of somebody else having control over my life like that again.
Right. And that's important. You know, keep the toxic folk away and keep it pushing. So let's talk about your projects. We talked about your latest project. The name, where they can find the projects, where they can find you on social media, because I'm going to drop all of her information down in the description box below so they'll know exactly where to find you. But could you tell the viewers?
Yes. So if y'all want, this is my latest book, From His Partner to His Prey.
It's the bomb. It's the bomb.
You can get this book most online retailers, Walmart, Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, Books A Million. You can also get it from my website. TheRealShayisms.com is my website. You can order them from there. That's also where you get my merch, my Living Truth apparel, accessories, all that kind of cool stuff. And on social media, you can get me across the board. The Real Shayisms, SHAYIZMS.
You are so silly, man. So again, I will put all of her information down at the bottom in the description. Shay Cole, I thank you so much for coming on. And one more thing, what could you tell our DV survivors and people who are going through DV? What is a bit of advice that you can give to them?
So my thing would be, don't second guess your choices to leave. If you feel like you need to leave, you need to leave. And there are people available to help you leave and to help you stay away and protect you. You don't have to go through this alone. Silence is not golden. This is not the movie theater. You need to speak up and say something, because nobody can help you if you're quiet. Nobody knows you need help if you're silent. So,
it's just true.
We out here.
Yes, we are. Well, Shay Cole, I thank you so much. I know you have another engagement to get to, another meeting, but I appreciate you for coming on Truth TV Podcast. This was so fun. Like I said, this has been my homegirl for over 20 years. She's the best writer I know. She's a poet. We didn't talk about her poetry stuff, but she does do poetry readings. Where do you do your poetry readings?
So I have a few of my readings on my YouTube. The Real Shayisms is my channel. If you're interested in checking those out, that's where most of them are. I do live performances here and there, but it's kind of like a follow me and catch me type of thing because I don't have like a set schedule of performances. So it's kind of like I'm not depressed today. Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah. Ain't nothing wrong with that. We have our days. We still healing and thriving, though. Still healing and thriving. All right, girly. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you for sharing your story. You are a brave warrior. Like I said, you are the best writer, best poet, best mommy I know. And I want you to keep your head up and keep doing good things. Keep selling those books, keep writing those books, and just keep being you and keep living in truth, darling.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, Shay, we will catch up with you later.
All righty. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, guys, that was Shay Cole, author, writer Shay Cole. I'm going to put all of her information down in the description box. You guys can follow her at The Real Shayisms. Her book is available for purchase at Walmart, Barnes & Noble, Amazon.com. She has a lot of products. Just type in her name, Shay Cole. I appreciate you guys for listening to this video. Again, like, share, subscribe, and comment. I would love to hear from you if you guys have certain commentary about the video that you just saw. If you or someone you know who is in a situation that needs to get out, there is help available, like Shay said. You can dial the crisis number that's floating down at the bottom. The number is 988. You can dial it anytime, 365, 24/7. People are available to help you. Don't forget to like this video, like this video, like this video. And until next time, we will holler at you guys later. Thanks for watching.